Welcome to part 2 of mapping behind the scenes. In the last video, I showed the whole process of mapping from the timing nodes through a couple of playtests and fixes. In this video, we're going to take a look at the process of lighting a map, as it's a completely different beast. Make sure to like and subscribe if you learn anything helpful. So now that we know how to get our ideas down into the editor, let's move on to my favorite part, the lighting. So I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to make a good light show.
Choose your character.
First up, we'll choose our environment. I've worked with a couple environments in the past, but I wanted to try a new one. So I found a map with an environment that I liked. Notice Me, mapped by Alice. Let's open it up to see what environment they used and if there's anything removed. It looks like it's just Fitbeat with the spectrogram removed. You can actually learn a lot about mapping by opening up one of your favorite maps and checking out some of the things that they did. So I'm just going to set the environment for my map and then we can get started. First up, I want this beginning part to have ring lights that get brighter and start spinning faster as the sound rises. So I'm going to try to set up some custom ring spins. To do this, we're going to place the event, then select it, and press N to open up the node editor. If you know basic JSON or have ever looked at any coding, this won't be too confusing. But basically, these are the instructions that the event reads. So in order to make the ring spin how we want, we have to edit this code. I'm going to add some custom data, then mess around with different rotations, steps, and speeds until I can find what I'm looking for. So I actually ended up messing with this for a while, and I decided to take a break because I just couldn't figure out how to make it speed up smoothly. But I eventually figured out that I just had to move the events closer together. I was trying to change the rotation and it just wasn't working. Make sure to go check out the links in the description for these resources to help learn about the custom events. But now that I've figured that out, let's get moving. In order to make the lights get brighter, I placed a completely black event at the start and the final white color where I wanted it to be finished, and then added a gradient. We're going to be adding a lot of these, so make sure you know how to make them. To open up the step gradient menu, press tab and click on strobe generator. You can check out what these different options do, but we're looking for the chroma step gradient. Checkmark that and then click the arrow to check the settings. We want value A to be on and the strobe interval to be 1/16. That gives a pretty smooth transition. There are a ton of different easings, but we're just going to stick with linear for now. So when we click generate strobe, it will fill in the whole line of events to make a smooth transition. Let's check it out. It looks good, but I want that last part to really brighten up, so I'm going to add some light blue lights to give it more of that bright feel. Now it looks a lot better. During the break from the ring spins, I worked on the next part. I want the ring to spin quickly, then stop with the shots. I think it looks pretty good. To represent the shots, I first think maybe adding some red to give a blood type feeling like GoldenEye or something. But I do want to add some yellow and white in there to look like the flash you'd see coming out of the barrel, at least like in the movies. I think I finally got something I'm happy with. Yeah, it looks good. Oh, and I threw in one more regular spin event without any lights just to get them all aligned again. Next up, I think it would be cool to have the guitar be represented by one of the rotating lights flashing red, while the others are this light blue that I used in the intro. To do this, we can press P and it will open up the light propagations. Here's where we have a lot more control over our lights. We can press page up and down keys to scroll through the different light types. So here we can change each of the left rotating lights individually instead of all of them at once. So let me take a few minutes to place these red lights on the left and right side. I want to make sure to add blue events after the red ones so that they change back and don't stay red. To save a color to use later, you can actually click on this little plus and it will add it to your palette. And if you want to select a color you already placed, make sure this paint roller is on and shift click. I'm also adding in some ring spins and quick zooms with the kicks to emphasize them a little bit. Let's add some pink lights to help too. Looking pretty good. Now let's go back and quickly add a little something for the yell right before the drop. So for the next part, I obviously want to keep the same pattern, but I want to make it a different color scheme. So let me do it all again with different colors. Awesome, it looks good, and it doesn't get too repetitive. Now I'm going to go back and map that guitar part I skipped earlier, since I now know how I'm representing the guitar sound. Now for the next part, just like with the note blocks, we're going to copy sections and change them to account for any changes in the music, like the kick drum pattern right here. And at this sine wave, I want everything to cut out and just one thing to flash. And I think this purple looks great right here. For the next sine waves, I'm going to use ring light propagation with that light blue color. So now that I'm done with this beginning section, I'm going to give it a play. It looks really good, but I feel like it could just be a little more to really match the energy of the song. So I'm deciding that I'm gonna go all out for this. What if during the drop, the rotating lights flashed colors instead of just staying blue? Well, I found some colors that I like, and I'm gonna add them to the rotating lights propagation. So I can make them run down a row of lights and then add a gradient to them. I actually did this in such a terrible way for this first one. Here, let me jump to the next one when I figured out a better way to do it. So I'm adding the colors down the line, a quarter of a beat apart, and then the neutral colors in between. Now I can select the whole thing and generate a strobe. Now I'll add in the red lights. This way was much easier. So after doing that, it looks really cool. But next up is to do it again. I want to keep this section separate, so I'm going to look for some darker, warmer colors. Now it's the same as the first time. Make the pattern in these colors, then copy and paste it for the different parts while making slight changes to account for the differences in the music. Okay, the whole beginning is looking really good, and now we can move on to the verse. I think the guitar at the quiet part might look good in like a low yellow fading in and out. I'm adding a wave of yellow going back and forth on a slow ring spin, and I'm using light blue for the vocals. This next part, I want to again emphasize the bass, hopefully making the arcs feel that much more fun to play. So I'm adding green and red lights going back and forth on the rings with some tight, quick ring spins between them. You can do this by setting the speed of the event to something like 1500. Then I'm going to add all the blue lights for the vocals, and I think this purple to blue flash would be perfect for those wubs. Now, moving on to the pose section, I think it'll be a great idea to bring back the shot flash once again. So I added some custom spins to give it some movement, and it's looking really good. In the next section, I made a slow spin with single flashing lights for the guitar and vocals. Then for the last transition, I just want it to be bright for the snare and then dark for the kick to really give that drop a huge amount of energy. And finally for this last drop, I'm just going to copy and paste the first drop and then make the changes to fit. Finally for the outro, I'm throwing in the flashes of the shots with some ring spins, and I think that's all. I'm going to watch through the whole thing and see if I notice anything I need to fix. Then I'm going to hop into a test play and see how it looks in game. So I noticed that there are some parts where the lights seem a little dim, so I'm going to make those brighter, and then I'm going to change how the vocals are lit during the verse. I don't care for the single bright blue lights, so I'm going to try to make the lights a little less chaotic and a better color. I also noticed a few little changes I wanted to make to the mapping. I really just want to get a few more horizontal blocks into some of these patterns. Okay, I think it feels and looks amazing. Now I'm going to do a few more test plays just to make sure everything is working properly, and I'm going to see if anybody on my server wants to give it a test too. Alright, I've added some finishing touches and details, and I'd say our map is finally finished. Hopefully you learned a few things about the process of mapping and lighting. It can take a lot of time and patience to create something that you're happy with. But the effort really shows. I'm going to show you the finished map, but first make sure you're subscribed to the channel, comment down below what you found most helpful, and go play the map once the video is over. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Dumbest girl alive. I took 10 Advils today. I got bruises on my thighs. Plus I gave away my brain. I'm the dumbest girl alive. I got lightning in my veins. Walk around like Frankenstein. I did science on my face. I'm the dumbest girl alive. Never ask me what I think. Don't know why you even try, cause I always get it wrong. I'm the dumbest girl alive. Money coming from my mouth. Money coming from my eyes. And I keep on losing count. I'm the dumbest girl alive. And I'm picking up the pace. I'm so happy I could die. Put emojis on my grave. I'm the dumbest girl alive. And that feels so dangerous. But you say I'm doing fine now. Guess that's how it goes. I'm the dumbest girl alive. Text, 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 text. Like you're trying to start a fight. Yeah, I'll fucking text you back. I'm the dumbest girl alive. Why you wanna pout? Is there something in your eye? Can you show me how? Can you show me how to cry?
I can't be honest with my friends. I never seem to fit right in. With a backlog full of olives, and I need a sip of gin.